The topics and opinions expressed in the following show are solely those of the hosts and their guests and not those of W4CY Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4CY Radio or its employees or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4CY Radio.
Welcome to A Face for Radio. I'm Richard Marks.
And I'm Phil Hirsch.
Hello.
Hi.
Having a little fun.
I got 6 eyes. It's incredible. All right.
There you go. Hey, welcome everyone. It's A Face for Radio. It's Monday, August 14th, 2023.
Sound great, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Had a little frog in my throat last few days, but it's kind of worked its way through. So tonight's show,
I named mine
that's
Kermit.
Phil Hirsch.
Oh, nice to meet you guys. Good to see everybody again. Different location today.
Yes, you are. No
Yeah,
towels.
No towels. Palm Coast, folks. It's a beautiful location, a great area for sure, and everything. So,
Nice.
say hi to your frog, Kermit. Hopefully, he won't come back to your throat anytime soon.
Well, welcome to a Face for Radio, and it's again it's Monday night show, and the title of our show tonight is Close Encounters, and so as you saw from our little cameo there, Mr. Gray, here he is. Wanted to touch upon the subject of things that are been in the news lately, especially we had some congressional testimony last week or so, and you want to call them whistleblowers, but these are guys that kind of came forward and were grilled in Congress about apparently that there's I've always been, I guess, rumors and maybe a sense that there were secret government projects that we were capturing, shooting down alien spacecraft, and that we may actually have some of these bodies of the aliens that are on ice, probably at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Ohio, and as well as others. But I guess it was very curious because it seems like the timing of this, it's almost been sort of forecasted by a couple of people that I have kind of come to follow in terms of some of their forecasting and predictions, that at some point when all this craziness in our society in terms of the economy and the social stuff and open borders and crap and chaos in the cities, that at some point there would be this alien issue, or you want to call it like Project Bluebeam is a name that it's been given by the CIA. And I guess the thought process behind it was there was going to be this unifying force that would justify and necessitate our government having to pour all kinds of new money and fresh money into the Defense Department, because now we have to all unite to fight a common enemy. And so when the wars, you don't have any wars to fight, now we have to bring in the aliens to then use that to unite everybody. And so it seems kind of, the timing seems very suspicious. It's like you can almost set your watch to all the, what do you want to call it, the conspiracy theory stuff. But so they say that they've reverse engineered a lot of the vehicles, at many of the things that are in the sky that people routinely see as UFOs. They're always reporting them. I mean, we're talking about like, the lights over Arizona, right? All those in a
Yeah.
row. And then you see like these orbs that are like going in all crazy directions super fast, turning on a dime, doing right angles in the sky. And you're saying, well, it's got to be a UFO. It's got to be an extraterrestrial vehicle. Well, now
Mhm.
the inference is that they may actually be our own military
Yeah.
flying these things, and that we've
Jeez.
reverse engineered what we found, and now we're actually the ones. So if you can fly fly these through the sky, and everyone thinks now they're aliens, but it's really us. Then what's the next logical leap? So are they going to then stage like a fake alien invasion? With
Yeah.
the help of Hollywood and some some real special effects, and they can do holograms in the sky, big mothership coming down, and and it's on CNN, right? So everybody's like fixed to it, like, oh my god, and you don't know if it's real or what. You just everything this day and age, whether it's AI or CGI, you don't
Mhm.
really know what's genuine until it knocks on your front door, and and some you know this guy asks you for directions, try to find his way home,
Yeah,
you know,
exactly. Oof,
you know,
jeez.
ET on home.
Yeah, pretty much. Where's the
Oh,
bike?
oh,
Bike
ET
got stolen.
iPhone.
Look at
ET
that. Very
iPhone. Yeah. Next
uh
next iPhone 15 will be ET
yeah.
iPhone. Yeah.
Yeah, you just gotta press his
So
eyes, you know.
so that's kind of that's kind of crazy. So, but there was a story that I saw last week, and this was really creepy. Apparently, it was down in Peru, and
Mm,
they were a town not far from the capital, but into the hinterlands a bit.
mhm.
But apparently, these aliens, or what they're calling them face peelers of all things.
Face
That
peelers.
apparently that over the last few years there have been incidents where people have like disappeared, face peelers, that people have disappeared into the night, and they find their bodies almost like the cow mutilations. You've heard about those forever, and the
Yeah.
crop circles and all that kind of stuff. But they'd find these people and their faces would be actually peeled right off.
Oh,
Now,
jeez.
God knows what what the purpose of that. I mean, what they need their skin or whatever. But so what happened was all the town's men, apparently with all their guns and stuff, went into the woods to find these guys. Because
Mhm.
they knew where they were, because there's like all kinds of light coming through the trees and stuff. And I saw a video where you saw like this thing in the sky. You didn't see the aliens per se, but you saw something with a phone camera getting something in the trees, like illuminating behind the trees. And what they said they saw were these 7 foot tall, basically grays like this. They were
Mm,
7 feet tall,
okay.
and uh, they were floating on discs, like almost like I'm trying to think, like one of those you know things you go down the hill in the snow, one of those those round
Sled
things
or
that
a
you.
toboggan or
Yeah, but
not
but
a
but
boogie
but
board, but
but the
and
round thing that you'd go on there, and you'd like almost like a garbage can lid, right?
yeah, it's
But
got two
rounded, right?
handles. Yeah, yeah. I had one of
But it was,
those
yeah,
in Canada way
but they
back in the
said
day.
the things were like 5 feet off the ground, and then they were like levitating or hovering with these things, and the
Mm,
bodies and the aliens themselves were 7 feet tall, and they had the gray and the big eyes and stuff, and then
mm.
they would just go up, lift up into the sky. So they were shooting at them and stuff, and they said that they couldn't. It didn't hit him. I mean, it may have hit him, but it was bouncing right off. Like they had some sort of protective energy field or something. So this is what was going on in Peru, like last
Mm.
week. I mean, it's
Jeez.
crazy, right? But it got a lot of coverage, and there's like some videos of it on YouTube, and even Clayton Morris on that show Redacted
Oh
did a
yeah.
whole segment on it. and it was yeah. I mean, people were being interviewed. Of course, they're speaking in Spanish, and they interpreted it, but translated it. There we go. Into English, and they're basically saying that that this is not the first time it's happened, and they have a Spanish name for them. It's called the face peelers. And so
Jeez.
see, so coupled with all that and everything we've known about aliens for forever, I mean, it makes you start to, in my mind anyway, if this is where we're going, where everything is sort of like being revealed, all the secret societies and all the corruption and everything you hear about, and then think, okay, well, let's go one step further into really just dispelling all the myths of our society, our history, our civilizations, because in my mind anyway, it seems like we've been carefully, I guess, sculpted into a body of thought that we believe in certain myths growing up, and whether you want to call them religion or just historical facts, and we sort of like are trained to not consider the possibility that we've been visited for probably could be millions of years, right? In theory. I mean, we only know about this era of civilization since the last ice age. What is it, maybe 10, 12,000 years since the last ice age? So in theory, what was on the planet before that ice age, and before the ice age before that, and on and on. Because you just look at the artifacts, the things that have been left behind, and you see the pyramids in Egypt, and then you realize there's pyramids in Mexico, and there's pyramids in Indonesia, and there's pyramids in Asia and other parts of Asia. And now they've even found, by using all kinds of spectrum photography, apparently there's a pyramid on Antarctica, a very large one, in fact. I mean, you can actually see it now, because if you don't know to look for it, and you've never seen photos of Antarctica, because let's face it, Antarctica for the longest time was probably the least explored continent. It's like the one last frontier. And now with satellite imagery, and you hear about all these trips and excursions that people are taking to Antarctica for whatever reason, like there's something drawing them there. So I mean, do we know
magnetic
with certainty? Well, yeah, do we know with certainty that Antarctica has always been under half a mile of ice? It seems to me we know everything about the history of the planet, and how everything is cyclical, and and we've had pole shifts and stuff, that it seems that there's a very strong case to be made that Antarctica used to be a tropical environment, that it sustained a lot of life, and that who knows what's there now. I mean, the average person cannot just travel to Antarctica, or even to the Arctic for that matter. It's at least not from North America. You have to make a real commitment and be part of one of those excursions. They don't have really tourist flights there per se. But there's a lot of evidence that something was there many, many eons ago, and possibly might still be there. You never know. I mean, if the aliens that have been visiting this planet for all these, countless, millennia, if they want to find a place where they can hang out and camp out with relative anonymity, Antarctica would be a good place. I probably better than any place on the planet, really. I mean, other than a bunch of penguins, and I mean, there's no standing population living there. There's no indigenous people that are there. I mean, the Arctic, you at least have the Inuits, right? They have the people up there. They actually live up there, but we don't. There's really no one that lives in Antarctica. What say you, Phil?
I don't. I've never been there. I'd like to meet some penguins, and none from Pittsburgh. But if possible, sorry, I couldn't resist. Any hockey fan out there would get that within a mile of my earshot. But, it is what it is. So Antarctica is one of those interesting places. No doubt about it. It's unique. It's remote, but it can kill you. Now, if I personally was going to say have a bucket list item, Antarctica is not on it, believe it or not. But there is a cold location that is, and that would be Churchill, Manitoba. Why? Because I have a fascination with polar bears, and you can actually go on a polar bear tour in Churchill, Manitoba. So it's kind of interesting on this massive vehicle. It's got 10-foot tires. I kid you not, very specially designed. So obviously the bears cannot climb up and have you for lunch. And so that's something that I've thought about. It's not cheap. I think it's going to cost somewhere between 3 and 4K Canadian. Do the math. It's, an expensive bucket list item, but yes, it's something I've always wanted to do for a long time. Sorry, Antarctica.
So are you above the Arctic Circle? Are you above the Arctic? Are you above the Arctic Circle when you're up there that high? You must be.
Churchill, Manitoba is north of Winnipeg, I believe. It's pretty high up there, no doubt, and it gets frigid to say the least. So it's when they do these tours, I'm thinking probably October through. Could even be later. Could be November through March. I'm not sure. I'll have to look into it. But there are companies that actually do such tours, so it's kind of cool.
Well, do you remember the X-Files movie? Did you ever see that in the theater?
Yes, a long time ago. Wow.
Well, part of the whole plot was that all the alien civilization that was trying to basically do to us what the World Economic Forum is doing right now.
Oh, wonderful.
When you think about it,
Jeez.
predictive programming kicking in again. They actually the alien mothership, the big massive base, was actually embedded in Antarctica. So that was the whole thing where Mulder went and saved Scully. She was in a tube, for lack of better description, where she was in there like all these birth labs or whatever, baby labs, you see, where the babies are, I'm jumping the gun here. That's another show.
Yeah, it is, but not a bad one.
But he smashes the glass, and she's in some weird kind of coma, and he snaps her out of it, and he injects her with some serum and saves her life. Blah blah blah. And then so now the jig is up, and the aliens all go run home to their beta reticuli, whatever they have to go back to, and you see this thing take off out of the ice, and it lifts off. It looked like the mothership from Close Encounters, actually. They probably borrowed it.
Right.
Take out mothballs, use it for the X-Files. So that's why there seems to be some weird, eerie connection to aliens and Antarctica. So, if we live long enough, we're allowed to, be around. Hopefully it may be proven true. You never know, because it just seems logical that they're going to hide somewhere. They're not going to hide somewhere where they have to deal with annoying people knocking on the door. Hey, can I get an autograph or whatever? Take a selfie with me.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Oh my God.
Yeah, it's like go away.
Exactly.
Leave us alone.
Stop it. Exactly.
It's take me to your leader.
Exactly.
Yeah, what do you want?
You call that a leader? Exactly. Hey, I got a leader right here. Hey.
Never mind.
Yeah, right.
Oh,
geez.
Yeah. So beyond that, all that with the we've had the whole thing with alien abductions. That's been a thing for forever. There's been countless movies about it. But I mean, all the years that I used to listen to Art Bell and stuff like that, they'd have people that would talk about these
alien
missing
encounters.
and just missing missed time displacement and stuff like that, and you just, again, I touched on before, the cow mutilations, and it's just, there's all these strange I guess you call them phenomena, but if you just look at things logically and you just say, okay, we've been bred to believe in a creator, an almighty, that we are the children of God and all that, all that stuff. All the religions, we all kind of go to a one deity, whether it's with the Hindus, Judaism, Christianity, Islam,
Sure.
Even to some degree, some of the Asian, they all believe like in a higher power, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And then you introduce the idea that maybe, just maybe, aliens maybe seeded this planet, or they genetically modified, whether they modified primates and they made humans out of primates, or and you look at all the different you know racial types, and how
Yeah.
you look at the Asian, and you look at black people, you look at the Caucasian, and you might, I guess you'd say, even Hispanic, and the native cultures, native Indians from
Sure.
various continents all around the globe. And it seems like while we all have the same, basic genetic makeup, same, but it seems like there's such difference in our appearances that it almost seems like something was tweaked here and there. I mean, it seems logical that that could be the case, because you wouldn't see so many weird genetic mutations that would change, have people have radically different, especially before there's a lot of mixing of races. There's a lot of biracial people, but back when people were like on continents and with oceans between them, you didn't really have a lot of, you didn't have that. You had a very kind of like a homogenized, gene pool. So if that's the case, where maybe some higher power or more sophisticated culture or civilization was able to come down here and tweak with what was here, whether they put us here in the first place or whether we were here and then we were tweaked and then we became what we are right now, for better, for worse.
Yeah, right.
So then that throws into question the whole concept of God, and okay, well, is there a God then? Does God exist? Because if we believe God created us, but we find out later that, well, no, actually, these races of aliens created us, but then it comes back to the same kind of like chicken and egg thing. Well, if they created us, who created them? So is it all ordained or predetermined that this is all one big convoluted, puzzle? Because it has to, it's like you look at the universe, the Big Bang Theory, the fact that we're here talking on technology, we exist, we're conscious, we have consciousness, we have awareness of ourselves. But where did it emanate from? It doesn't just like appear out of nothing. There has to be an origin, a basis where everything sprung from. And that is, I guess, is that the concept of God in itself? That God is the universe. God is like this power, this force that is expressed in all these different, forms of life and energy, and conscious energy, like wavelengths. I mean, just people's conscious thoughts. Do you ever
and
think
different
about
faith
that?
too. It's sometimes you just never know. I mean, we're all raised a certain way. We have our own belief system, whether it's Judeo-Christian beliefs, some, believe, like you said, Far East faiths or religions. You have the Baha'i faith. You have, of course, the Islamic faith. You have the Sikhs, so there are various different sects when it comes to religion. And no, I didn't say sects, just in case the censors are on standby. You never know, but I'm good. Anyways, to try to make light out of this situation. Yeah, it's pretty heavy stuff. I'd be drinking too if I had a mug, just talking about it, but I don't. But I have this mug right here. Yeah, Hunter's Blend Coffee. I got the shirt on, folks. Look at that. I like my
beautiful shirt,
coffee black, and my tea in the harbor. Amen.
Beautiful shirt, beautiful coffee.
Yeah, it certainly is. And it's delicious and smooth. And God, I hope they have some Hunter's Blend coffee tomorrow at my event in Jacksonville. Fingers crossed. You never know. I'll put in a good request. I'll say, guys, get some Hunter's Blend. I don't care if you have to FedEx it overnight. Just do it. Do it. Do it now. So, it's really hard to say. What would aliens believe in? It, like I said, if we ever did have a close encounter with an alien, what would they believe in? I don't know. That's a very good question. It's hard to say.
Well, it's
I don't think they'd vote for Joe Biden.
what would what's your I don't I, I don't well that's never stopped the other one. So
Yeah.
in theory, but no, I you figure they're coming all the way across the universe. You figure whether they travel through wormholes or there's their technology much more sophisticated. They can travel so many. Oh, there we go. I seem to have frozen. That's
wow.
Weird. We're doing so well. Okay, I'm back.
Third box. No, it's all good. Actually, I think we have a special guest coming in, and I don't think it's an alien, because I was looking for the gray face, but I didn't see it. I just see I don't know what that is. It looks like some kind of apparatus, a microphone of sorts, maybe. It's a small little box.
That looks like some alien spaceship.
I'm going to maximize the screen.
Actually, what that is meant to.
Looks like a goalie mask minus the cage.
Is a metaphor of.
Yes.
Is we're gonna call that Election Day 2024. At least that's the hope.
Okay.
That, for those who aren't familiar with what that contraption is, that is a litter robot, and that is something that takes the poop away and then cycles it back, and then you have a nice fresh bed of litter for your little furry friend. Yeah.
Wow. To be a good sponsor too.
But
I wonder if they do that for humans, because that would be kind of cool. If you don't have time, just do your deed and all of a sudden it recycles it. And the way things are going right now, who knows, man? We may have to start growing food like in our toilets.
Yeah.
Scary.
We can take that away. We don't need to look at that.
Yeah, that's true. Considering it's around dinner time. Wow, that was interesting.
One thing I wanted so let's take a quick break, do some commercials, and come back, and we'll introduce a new one, a new sponsor.
I like that.
Looks like you've been sleeping well.
Megan, he's back. The My Pillow guy.
And you're looking good.
Still feeling good.
Well, just when you thought it couldn't get any better, we've got the best pillow ever, My Pillow 2.0. When I invented My Pillow, it had everything you'd ever want in a pillow. Well, now there's new technology that makes it even better. My Pillow 2.0 has my patented fill combined with a cooling fabric with temperature regulating thread. My Pillow 2.0 is truly the next generation of My Pillow.
The best sleep just got even better. Whether you have a MyPillow or not, you need to get the brand new MyPillow 2.0. Call or go to MyPillow.com now. Use your promo code, and for a limited time when you buy one, you'll get a second one absolutely free.
You're sleeping even better.
And cooler, too.
And you're looking good.
Feeling good.
I knew you would.
Visit MyPillow.com.
Hunter's Blend Coffee, premium coffee for freedom-loving Americans. Many coffee importers view the world very differently than you do and would support lobbyists that fight against the Second Amendment, hunting, and our God-given freedoms. No matter where you buy your coffee or who roasts it, someone had to import the green coffee beans. Well, we are the coffee buyer, importer, and roaster. So from the farmer to your mug, you can feel confident that your morning coffee has been safely in the hands of patriots. Hunter's Blend Coffee.
God, I love that sound.
Hunter's Blend.
Oh, wait, wrong side.
You're good. Okay, so Phil, hold down the fort for a second. I'm going to be right back. So,
all right, I'm going to hold the fort.
Hold the fort.
I might just do that. By the way, I love Hunter's Blend Coffee. They're incredible people. And look, Melania and I, we love to drink coffee. And she'll tell you, look at Baron. Baron drinks Hunter's Blend Coffee. He's nearly 7 feet tall. It's unbelievable. It really is. So don't be a shrimp. Drink Hunter's Blend Coffee. You'll grow taller than Mount Rushmore. Believe me. All right, there we go. Look at that. A little Hunter's Blend Coffee improv. Hope you'll appreciate it. All right.
So
Very nice.
we are thrilled to introduce our new sponsor, and the company is called Miles Franklin Precious Metals.
Nice.
And
beautiful.
there's stole my thunder. That's okay. Well, we'll put that back up in a sec. So Miles Franklin is one of the premier firms out there that are basically selling a lot of gold and silver, platinum, palladium to everyday people, all shapes and sizes, all size orders. They've been around for 33 years. The founder, Andy Schectman, is a very prominent, very well-known figure in the community. You'll see him on many, many broadcasts, many YouTube videos. He's a regular guest on quite a few shows. And Andy is he's really an educator as much as the owner of the business. He really gives you the deep dive into why precious metals, while they've always been part, at least they used to be part of every asset allocation model that most financial analysts and that they sort of are trained to do between your stocks, bonds, and whatever CDs, whatever people used to use, and for whatever the formulas were. But historically, precious metals were always somewhere should have been around the 5%. But over the last 20, 30 years, they've been sort of, the redheaded stepchild. They've been kind of, relegated to almost like, don't bother anymore. It's a relic of a asset. It's, who needs it? It doesn't earn interest and this and that, But let's face it, stuff like this is a silver eagle.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
Beautiful coin. I don't know if you can see that well, the light contrast, but
your cat, that's beautiful. Your cat, by the way, just crawled in and I think wanted to check out milesfranklin.com. So quite impressive. Your cat has good taste.
Mittens loves precious metals.
Yeah, absolutely.
He loves gold. So what we'll be doing every Monday when we're on the show, we'll have basically a weekly special for Miles Franklin. And you may have noticed during the show, there's a new crawl, and you can go to info@milesfranklin.com, and in the subject line, just mention face, as in a face for radio, and you'll get the very, very best price they have to offer. Contact me, and my email is up there as well at faceforradio@yahoo.com. Contact me, and I'll hook you up with the current inventory and the pricing. The nature of the businesses, it works off of the spot price is determined in London at the LBMA, and that price is then there's a premium added, which is the standard operating procedure for all the precious metals companies, and you'll get your best price with Andy. You just really need to say, to whether contact me, inform me what your primary interests are, what your goals are. I'm not a financial analyst. I don't play one on TV. I'm just saying that I'm a big believer in the space. I've been, you want to say I've been a stacker for a number of years, but I firmly believe that in my world, in my life, I have a very large asset allocation to it, something I believe in. This has been money for 5,000 years. Now, a lot of people are tied or invested in the fiat system and all the Federal Reserve notes that that are in our pockets, but also the bytes and bits that are in our digital screen, our money that we think is safe in the bank. And I think we know from recent history that that's not always the case, right? I mean, we've heard about what happened in Canada with the truckers when they stepped out of line from whatever Trudeau was, they were calling them Nazis, right? Remember, or the truckers were Nazis all of a sudden because they were fighting for their brothers to not have to do a certain medical procedure, and
against
that made them into apparently,
and public enemy number one,
Nazis, right. But
unreal.
so you turn off their bank accounts, you basically take all their money away. They can't access it. But if you have these, or you have different versions of it, whether you have junk silver, whether you have gold, and whether it's in ounces or in bars, or there's larger bars, you can go up to kilos. Same thing with silver. People have 1 ounce bars, 1 ounce coins. 10 ounce bars, 100 ounce bars. Most don't do 1,000. That's more of an industrial size bar. But whether you are buying U.S. Eagles from the U.S. Mint, one of the most beautiful coins out there. 4 nines pure, beautiful stuff. There's also sovereign coins from England. There's the Britannias. There's the Kangaroos. There's the Philharmonics.
And Canadian coins too.
I was going to get to the Maple Leafs. Who doesn't love? Probably one of the most beautiful coins out there. The gold Maple Leafs. It's one of the most stunning coins that I own. I'm happy to say I own a few of those. I own some smaller, denomination, smaller bars stuff. But and of course some gold eagles as well. Got to throw those in the mix. But it's just it's not something that you necessarily buy to invest. This is called wealth insurance. I'm confident that when all this shit hits the fan, that if you have a certain, let's say, stash in a safe at home, or if you're a larger investor and you want vaulting services, Miles Franklin can help you with that too. They have vaulting up in Canada. They have vaulting up in the Midwest, and again, 33 years experience, bonded in the state of Minnesota. Very few, if any, other precious metals dealers are bonded. So they have the highest standards of professional conduct, AAA rated with the Better Business Bureau, never a complaint. They make things right. They're just just nice people. They work hard and they charge a very fair price. And I would highly recommend people that if they're not into it now, I mean, if you don't see inflation, de-dollarization, debasement of our currency. Now, right there, that's a 250 over spot. That's about the lowest price we've seen. For those are just basically silver rounds. Those are actually made in Bulgaria, but those are 4 nines pure silver. And there's a guy who very well known guy called David Morgan from the Morgan Report, and he's a firm believer. He says it doesn't necessarily matter. I mean, it's great to have certain sovereign coins, but at the end of the day, it isn't which coins you have; it's how many ounces you own. So, from Bulgaria, there's other ones. There's buffaloes from New York, from the U.S. And now,
there you go.
The frog's returning. But our hope is next week we will have the man himself as our guest for the whole show. Andy has agreed to come on, and he'll basically give like one of his tutorials. He'll help educate the public, tell you a little bit about what's going on geopolitically and monetarily. Wow. And I think it'll be a great show.
I'm excited. I've been a coin guy myself for a very, very long time. Not to dwell on this too much, but since the mid 80s, that's when I started collecting. And God, I love the old coins, especially the old designs, the Morgan silver dollars among many, the Barbers. I mean, my God, I can go on and on. But so that I'm really excited about that. And boy, just to even have a nice Canadian silver dollar or a gold, look at that. My God, that is silver, folks. You couldn't do that if it wasn't,
Yeah, these are 2022s. Beautiful,
stunning.
They did a redesign 2 years ago. So
okay.
Love it. I mean, I just love the way they feel. I mean, there's so much heft to it.
I love that sound, that high pitched tone. That's how you know that's real money, folks, not monopoly money.
And we'll talk about silver and all its all the issues surrounding it, and maybe we'll get into a little bit of some of the more let's say the conspiratorial stuff around the pricing, because that's something that everybody's in the space knows about it, and some talk about it, some don't, some ignore it. I don't know, but to each his own. We'll see what happens.
Exactly.
So next week, we'd be remiss if we didn't touch upon a tragedy it's unfolding. If we're talking about our brothers and sisters on the island of Maui. Yeah. And everybody has been seeing all the videos that they're on all over the news. It's front and center. It's horrible. It's hard to understand how so many things could have gone wrong, how so many circumstances were so just all like wound together to make this absolute terrible calamity happen the way it did, and then in the aftermath, it's still a calamity because we're hearing stories about FEMA and the Red Cross are stopping aid from getting to the people that need it for every single red tape regulation snafu that you could dream up, whether food meals that were being brought to starving people that haven't eaten in days that they would not accept because they weren't made in certified base kitchens, right?
Oh, geez, what? Not union made?
That kind of bullshit, right? Stuff is showing. I mean, there's like blockades being set up by the government, keeping fellow Hawaiian residents, state residents that have come in from the other islands, from the other side of Maui. They're all bringing aid. They're bringing water, food, clothing, shelter, medicine, and they're being stopped. No, you can't go. You're not approved. You're not a FEMA approved vendor, so you cannot come. So people they're lined up for like a half a mile down the highway. Why can't we help our friends? And then then you get into the the downtown, the Front Street area of Lahaina, and oh my God, it looks like Nagasaki or Hiroshima. Honestly,
Hiroshima,
it
100%.
Looked like a nuclear bomb, just like laid everything to ashes.
And I'll tell you what else bothers me. And I'll say this about what happened in Hawaii. I don't like to lay blame on anybody, but they had a whole emergency siren system in place, and it failed. Now ask yourself this: how is that even possible? When you are ready for any possible disaster, we know Hawaii gets volcanoes; it can happen. So nobody had warning.
Tsunami alerts.
Yeah. So there's no siren working. Ask yourself, who has run that state for the last how many decades? One party, folks. It's one party rule. Can you guess which party? I'll give you an example. The selected imposter who is currently in the White House, well, he's part of that party. Need I say more?
I heard Biden had something to say about what happened in Maui. I think he said, "No comment."
Yeah, no.
That was his big, big tribute to the Hawaiians that are suffering.
Yeah, I guess he didn't get his 10% cut, from the disaster relief. So that could explain why there are delays. But
there's been stuff on. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, it's all good. I was going to say Hawaii should just change its name to Ukraine, because maybe then they might actually get government aid. I kid you not, including the National Guard.
And of course, the slap in the face. Another, I think, 200 million was approved in weaponry. Went to Ukraine today as well.
Jeez, freaking wheeze.
I think it's pretty obvious to anyone with two brain cells to bang around each other that stuff is being done in our faces. It's almost like they're trying to provoke something. They're really it's an effort to demoralize obviously the people, but everything is so in your face now that it's like a standard operating procedure for them to just do exactly what everyone would just be have a revulsion to. It's like, how could you possibly be this tone deaf? And it's like
they are.
But I think it's brought from and I guess an attitude that you can't touch us. We're untouchable. You really there's no higher party or I mean, you can go through all the histrionics of congressional hearings and threats of impeachment, and Ted Cruz now is calling for 3 impeachment proceedings. For Mayorkas, for Merrick Garland, and Biden himself. And it's all great. It's a great soundbite. It's a great headline on a TV show. You get yourself out
show
there.
Me the money. Get it done. Enough is enough. I mean, we're suffering here.
And then they pull the stunt with they bring the special prosecutor to investigate Hunter Biden, and because now he's going to be investigating all these issues related to all the corruption and all the bribery and all the basically all the criminality, that now, because it's under a special prosecutor investigation, that everything must remain sealed and you can't talk about it now because it's under investigation. That's their fallback. So that's kind of like a little bit of like, chess that, they had that move to make. So, what happens now? Do they say, well, yeah, I guess they're right. I mean, if it's like they always say with the federal, whenever the FBI's, hauled into, Congress here, they always say, well, I can't talk about that right now because it's in the midst of an investigation and we can't prejudice the investigation by talking about it. So basically everything just gets buried, to infinity, because they can always just fall back on that crutch. And even though everybody looks at them and you have this look on your face, like, you went there again. And we went there again. And guess what? We're right back where we started. You're not getting anything from me, and you can't make me say it. And what are you going to do? Impeach me?
Yeah.
Go ahead. Impeach me. No one's firing me. I mean, the only one that can fire, like Chris Wray is Biden, right? Or I guess Merrick Garland. But that's not going to happen. I mean, you can impeach Merrick Garland, but he's still not going to be removed. You're just going to drag his face through the dirt a little bit. But that's the price they pay. I'm sure they're going to get compensated down the road. When they're out of the limelight, they'll have their little cushy fallback, place to land, and they'll have done their work. And some will be found hanging from a tree, and some won't be.
I think they might join the likes of Vince Foster.
Well, it depends on who you cross. Or you go on a little boat ride in a shallow pond.
Underwater basement in the Keys.
Well, you drown in 3 feet of water.
Yeah,
so
exactly. Or shooting yourself
Yeah.
twice in the back of the head. I guess you wanted a second opinion.
Exactly.
Lord. I'm telling you, that's one of my favorites.
So naturally, our thoughts and prayers are with the people of Maui. I've been to Hawaii 3 times. I've never been to Maui. I've been to the Big Island and Oahu a couple of times, but I hear it's more like old time. It's old Hawaii. It's that Lahaina was like one of these areas that they really never were able to get in and do any kind of massive development because there was a lot of generational families that owned a lot of the oceanfront and the indigenous people, because that was the original capital of the Hawaiian kingdom, actually, before we annexed it or basically took it. And so now it's flattened, it's leveled. Now people are desperate. Their properties are destroyed. There's nothing left. So now the government's going to come in and offer them like loans I heard the governor of Hawaii, Josh Rosen, I guess his name is.
He is. I'm not sure.
He may have signed off on some technicality that allows FEMA now to come in and basically control the land and control all the cleanup and the rebuilding and then how. So who's just salivating over? Well, of course, BlackRock and Vanguard and State Street. They're all going to be in there probably looking to build all kinds of developments but thing that really creeped me out, apparently there was a smart city 15-minute city conference held in January on Maui, and the plan was they were going to make Maui a smart island.
Oh God.
And this is now setting off all kinds of conspiracy theories. You're hearing things about high energy weapons, the HEWs, that this may have been a strategic demolition so that basically they could wipe out all the old generations of families that were the resistance to all the development that they wanted to build, a couple of not high rise, but, multi-story condos, and everything was going to be electrified. There was going to be no gas turbine engines on the on the island.
Right.
Planet. I know I slipped. I know it's like.
Well, don't worry. Just say that with a German accent.
Agenda 2030. Coming up fast.
There won't be any lift on the planet.
Yeah, exactly.
Ooh, God,
so that seems like that discussion is rearing its ugly head as well. But it seems like it's founded in some reality there that there may be some sinister plot or plan, because every time you see these fires just starting up out of nowhere. And then it's like all these, when the winds, and then the cell towers go down. There's no alert system. Everything burns to the ground. And so it's like, well, we have to rebuild. Well, who's going to do the rebuilding? Not the residents. It's all
they're going to be either bought out, or it's going to be so astronomically expensive that they will not be able to afford it, and they're going to have to leave penniless, basically. I mean, that's what we're looking at. That's what's really enraging about all this. And you think about this, why didn't that alarm system work, or that emergency system in place? That's how you know this could have been, who knows, not to go there, but anything's on the table nowadays. You can't rule out anything. That's just the way life is. I mean, seriously, when you look at all the crap that's been happening in the last 2.5 years in this country, Lord have mercy. It's been bad.
Well, I'll tell you. Well, maybe we'll touch on some of these larger global issues with Andy next week. But Phil, have a great couple of days up there.
Thank you.
We'll chat during the week, and I'll just say hasta
la vista, baby.
Hey, thanks for tuning in to Face for Radio. Check us out next week. I'm Richard Marks.
And I'm Phil Hirsch.